There's a tribute on the UNO campus honoring all the fallen soldiers. We'll show you how the university is showing their patriotism to celebrate the people who fight for our country.
Also, improvements to a local park were halted due to last summer's flood, but with the 90-degree temperatures we've been having, work is finally back in full swing. You're watching the Omaha News.
This is the Omaha News, presented by the School of Communication at the University of Nebraska at Omaha, from the studios of UNO Television.
Acres of green grass will soon cover some of the damage left behind by last year's flooding along the Missouri River. I went to Riverside Park and Council Bluffs to check out the progress. While it looks like a desolate pile of dirt, big changes are coming to Riverside Park.
When we had consultants that looked at this, they just thought it was just great, because nobody's ever done this.
A project appropriately called River's Edge aims to build a public park alongside the Missouri River in Council Bluffs. In just under a year's time, Mayor Tom Hannafin says when you step off the pedestrian bridge, you'll step into 95 acres of grass and trees.
It's exciting to see how they're building this area up so it'll be a nice venue, nice area.
According to the Council Bluffs Parks and Rec Department, River's Edge will run down to Harris Casino. Along with plenty of space to play and enjoy the view of the Omaha skyline, the park will also include an open-air amphitheater.
We could have a concert down here, 5,000 or 6,000 people.
The project was halted due to last year's historic flooding. Mayor Hannafin says the project's preparations basically had to start back at square one. Now back on track, the project is shifted into high gear with the goal of giving people another chance to enjoy the outdoors.
So if somebody wants to come down here and play frisbee or football or play a little soccer, they can do that.
Then you have something on both sides of the bridge to equal the balance.
The project is expected to be completed next spring. River's Edge is funded in part by a grant from the Iowa West Foundation, with the rest of the cost being covered by the city of Council Bluffs.
Police have confirmed the shooter at a small Christian school in Oakland, California. 43-year-old nursing student Juan Go forced a secretary into a classroom at Oikos University, told people to line up, and when some people didn't cooperate, started a shooting spree that left 6 students and a secretary dead. Go, a South Korean student who became a U.S. citizen, was upset about being expelled from the school and about being teased for his poor English skills. He is being held without bail after being booked on suspicion of murder, attempted murder, kidnapping, and carjacking.
An Omaha man arrested in a bar fight early Sunday morning dies in a separate shooting nearly 12 hours later. Officers said they arrested 27-year-old James Edwards after a disturbance outside Arthur's Bar near 114th and Dodge. Then, a little before 6 p.m., officers were dispatched to a shooting at 26th Avenue and Sprague Street, where they found Edwards, who was driven to Creighton University Medical Center. He was pronounced dead later at the hospital. No arrests have been made in the case.
Coming up after the break, some experts were on the UNO campus to talk about teaching technique that could be beneficial for future generations.
We'll show you what it is and how it could possibly make kids look forward to going to school. You're watching the Omaha News.
Something wasn't right.
Were they lying to the public?
There was a bigger story here than just a plane crash.
It's become the symbol of everything that's wrong with the industry.
My kid got 6 vaccines in one day and he regressed.
Not only are those children who aren't vaccinated at risk, but those who can't be vaccinated are at risk.
Nobody really knew what was going on. What was it in this market that had to be hidden?
I spent millions of dollars in cash, bribing government officials.
People in power do not like the investigation to come too close to them.
You never hear these stories.
Tuesdays on NET1.
first broadcast was to be at 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. We'd pre-taped it. And they pushed the switch and nothing happened.
That certainly was an interesting experience with me. I mean, I'd spent 2 years essentially getting this station ready, and we had everything prepared to go, and then we flipped the switch and heard silence.
Somehow the line had got wired through a light switch.
Mm-hmm. And a guy out there went off shift at 4 o'clock at the exact moment we were to go on. He pushed the switch and we went off the air before we went on.
The engineer went back to this little room, turned the lights on. And I said, well, everything's fine here, everything seems to be working. So, okay, well, we've got a signal now. So the guy thinks, well, I'll go home. He goes home, turns the light switch off, then goes off the air again.
We were supposed to sign on at 4, and I think it must have been about 5:30 when we finally got the thing on the air. That was certainly an experience I'll never forget.
Good afternoon. KVNO, the voice of the University of Nebraska at Omaha, now begins its regular broadcast schedule. Welcome to Fine Arts Radio for Greater Omaha, KVNO.
You're watching the Omaha News.
In 2008, 62% of youth that had voted had college experience compared to 38% that didn't. Welcome back to the Omaha News. I'm Megan Lackman.
And I'm Josh Gear. The 2012 presidential election's just around the corner. Students are excited to put in their ballot. Elizabeth Vall has more.
Merely 7 months are left till the election for the 45th president. There are 46 million eligible voters ranging from the ages of 18 to 29. That many young adults can make a huge difference this November. But the real question is, will they?
For me, I don't care who's president, as long as they leave me alone and let me do what I do, which is barber. So.
Last time when I wanted to vote for Obama, I could still vote for him, but he's just not really doing much to interest me anymore, and I don't want to do a careless one.
Students are saying it, and experts are agreeing that basically this election is not as exciting as the last.
There is not as much interest this year as there was in 2008. I think it has to do in part with the fact that in 2008, Obama was really a new phenomenon. The fact that he was biracial, and he's a great speaker, he's very charismatic, and a lot of young people really got very excited about his campaign.
In the 2008 election, when Obama was campaigning for change, students wanted to be a part of this historic event. But it seems as though that his second time around, he may have lost his excitement appeal.
The newness is worn off. It's not as exciting.
What experts want students to know is that voting should not be a fad or to follow the latest trends, but rather a way to get your voice heard on issues you care about. With millions of young Americans eligible to vote this year, politicians are trying every trick imaginable to draw in votes. But ultimately, the young voters will have to decide what's most important to them and whether they think their vote will count. For the Omaha News, I'm Elizabeth Valla.
The presidential election will be held on Tuesday, November 6th, with President Barack Obama battling a GOP candidate, either Newt Gingrich, Ron Paul, Mitt Romney, or Rick Santorum.
The Omaha Public School System has named Nancy Sebring the new superintendent. The OPS voted 11-0 with one abstention to select Sebring to replace John McKeel. The 57-year-old served as a Des Moines superintendent for 6 years. In that time, the district had been successful in increasing student achievement and high graduation rate despite the urban setting. In her career, Sebring has had various administrative positions in Iowa and Colorado, including Deputy Superintendent, Director of Curriculum, and Principalship and Human Resource Administration. Sebring hiring is pending the completion of a background check and successful contract negotiations. Students today would much rather spend their time playing PlayStation and Xbox than doing homework.
And this is especially true when it comes to math. Ashley LaFay is in the newsroom with more. Ashley?
Thanks, Josh and Megan. Math teachers came together on UNO's campus to discuss ways of using games to get students interested in math. I stopped by to see what all the hoopla was about. On Friday evening, the Thompson Alumni Center was overtaken by math teachers. The UNO Math Department held a workshop that focused on using social media and games to teach math to students of all ages. Math teacher Julie Dunn is hoping to learn new ways to get students to actually want to learn math.
I'm a second-year teacher, and I'm looking for new tricks to put in my bag to make math more interesting to students so that I can get them more engaged and want to learn math.
Speaker Maria Anderson believes that students' ability to master video games should make math easier to learn.
I mean, they have the whole layout of some of these things memorized, like every single node, I know where the special powers are and buried in this level, and I'm thinking, exponent rules are really not that hard to learn.
Teachers are discovering that students have no desire to learn math because they don't understand why they need to learn it.
And a lot of students think that math is boring, and they don't realize that math is all around us, that it's a part of our everyday world in everything that we see and do.
These teachers are doing their homework and are walking away with valuable tools to show their students that math doesn't have to be boring. Maria Anderson writes the Teaching for Tech column for MAA Focus and has recently been building video games used to teach algebra and musing about the future of higher education. Josh?
Thank you, Ashley. To find out more about the use of the games in teaching math, you can visit Maria Anderson's blog at teachingcollegemath.com.
Coming up on the Omaha News, one section of the UNO campus is full of flags.
We'll show you why that is and what they commemorate coming up after the break. You're watching the Omaha News.
PBS is the place you should go first.
There are no advertisers to be satisfied, only an audience to be satisfied.
We take our responsibility as journalists very seriously. We are constantly thinking about our viewers and what they care about.
We want to let you know what the information is, and then you decide what you want to think.
At the NewsHour, we are after the facts and only the facts.
UNO TV invites you to take a journey around the world, to lush jungles with endangered species, to exotic lands and different cultures, to lost cities beneath the sands. Travel through time to see ancient secrets on the other side of the world, the growth of the American West, or the start of Nebraska's largest city, or just explore our state. Find out about Nebraska in World War II. Learn how Omaha has grown since. Discover the effort to renovate its green spaces, the history of one of its most impressive buildings, or look at its internationally recognized university. For over 20 years, UNO TV has produced award-winning documentaries that explore, educate, and enlighten. To find out more, call 402-554-2516 or visit unotv.unomaha.edu.
NET Television expands your mind, enlightens your mind, inspires your mind, educates your mind, entertains your mind. NET Television opens up new worlds to you. Explore, travel, learn, discuss, debate. NET Television keeps you informed. Music, theater, dance, art, news. NET Television awakens your dreams, seeks to serve, strengthens our communities. We are Nebraskans. We are NET Television, Nebraska's PBS station.
The University of Nebraska at Omaha is a place for tomorrow's leaders. A place where individuals converge on a path to success, getting the attention and direction they need as they begin their career. It's where students take pride in serving Omaha, a city we've invested in for more than 100 years. UNO is a place where greatness begins. The University of Nebraska at Omaha.
You're watching the Omaha News.
Welcome back to the Omaha News. I'm Josh Gear.
And I'm Megan Lackman.
America's known for being free, but sometimes people forget that that comes at a price. UNO recently had its Tribute to the Fallen, recognizing every fallen soldier from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Adam Koloff spoke with a UNO alum on how he felt about the tribute.
The UNO College Democrats hosted its Tribute to the Fallen this week for every soldier killed in Iraq and Afghanistan since the war started. This is the 7th year in a row they have done this. UNO alum Craig Benson was a fellow American walking on campus and was reminded what it actually takes to be free.
Well, kind of mixed feelings at the time. First time I've ever seen it. Both proud and a little sad to be an American. It just kind of reminds you what it takes to keep our freedom that we get to enjoy here. It's easy to forget sometimes.
Along with a flag for every American killed, they will also put a photo along with a flag for everyone that has ties back to Nebraska. Craig talks about how he has ties to someone killed from Nebraska.
My brother did serve in Iraq, and one person from my parents' hometown, a town of about 1,000, Pender, passed away. He was in his unit. Got hit by a roadside bomb and killed him.
Every flag behind me represents a serviceman or woman that died over in Iraq or Afghanistan since we started the war. As of now, there's 6,385. For the Omaha News, I'm Adam Koloff.
This is the 7th year for the Tribute of the Fallen, and it took volunteers from all across the state of Nebraska over 150 total hours to put up the flags. The event will be at the Pet Bowl on the UNO campus throughout this week.
2 men received Purple Hearts Tuesday for their sacrifices decades ago. Victor Mashbein of Omaha was among the soldiers who stormed the beaches of Normandy in World War II, where he was stopped by an explosion. He was awarded a Purple Heart for that, but then he was shot 6 months later in Belgium. The paperwork of that injury was either lost in a flood or a fire. James George of Bellevue was injured in Iraq in 2003 when his vehicle crashed into a sand berm. 9 months after that, he found out that he had a brain and spinal cord injury from the crash. Senator Mike Johans presented the awards to Mashbein and George at Boys Town. Mashbein also received the Bronze Star and a Combat Infantry Badge for his service in World War II.
UNO held their 18th annual Bell Tower Challenge on Wednesday, and this year there was a different spin to the challenge. This year it added the Wheels for Meals bike ride to the competition to collect canned food items for Food Bank of the Heartland. Since the Bell Tower Challenge began, the food drive has collected approximately 47,000 pounds of food. After collecting the food from Melwood Park, cyclists transported it to the Bell Tower. There, the teams competed in a contest to see which team could stack the largest total number of food cans within the designated space. The winning team earned plaques and other prizes, including a 30-day B-Cycle pass and a Starbucks gift card.
With gas prices on the rise, airlines are taking advantage, going up right with them, leaving people wanting to stay at home rather than going very far on vacation. I went to a local airport and talked to the executive director of the Omaha Airport Authority about the rising fares.
Specifically, I don't think the prices go up per se. Airfares have increased year over year, primarily because of oil and reduced capacity.
Airfare prices have a big effect on everyone's travel plans. Steve tells us why they're going up this year.
I think the earlier you book, the better opportunity you have to find a good bargain. But yeah, again, because of the oil prices, there's no doubt that airfares are on the rise. Yeah, March and April, this year with Easter falling in April, those are 2 busy periods, no doubt about it. In August, folks trying to get their last bits of vacation before school starts. We always have extra staff on during busy times.
So if you're looking for a spring break or even a family getaway, it's always better to book your flight sooner than later. So far, airlines themselves are responsible for 2 rate hikes this year that have increased fares up to $30 per round trip. Under a new law that requires airlines to wrap taxes and fees into advertised rates, it is now difficult for consumers to tell who is increasing the airfares, the airlines or the government.
Omaha is seeing delays in yard waste pickup due to unseasonably warm weather we've been having recently. On Monday, the city said Deffenbaugh Industries had encountered greater than average amounts of yard waste in the first week of collection. They were fully staffed and even had extra workers to deal with the large amount of material, but Deffenbaugh warned customers to expect delays this week. It said its priority is to collect garbage and recyclables during the day and to leave delays only to the yard waste. Additional workers from Kansas City, Missouri have been brought in to help Deffenbaugh. After 7 p.m. on the day following normal collection schedule, residents can report any missed yard waste collections to the city's solid waste hotline at 402-444-5238. Coming up, if you're a baseball lover, Omaha is the place to be this weekend. We'll show you the upcoming schedule around the Diamond that includes 11 games in just 4 days.
Also, the UNO baseball team is going through an up and down season in its transition year to Division I. We'll show you more after the break. You're watching the Omaha News.
Something new.
Or reach beyond.
Oh my gosh, it's fantastic.
When you want to peer inside.
There's something wrong here. This isn't normal.
Will it seem almost impossible? Or push the limit?
Large tornado! It's humongous! We need to get out now!
When you want to dive deep.
These divers are like astronauts.
Our human nature is to push into places that we don't know about.
Or go to the edge.
There are other worlds out there.
We don't know exactly what we're going to find.
When you want to find new frontiers.
I was truly astonished.
You just don't ever know.
Nova.
Wednesdays on NET1.
There are more ways than ever to enjoy your favorite NET programming, all broadcast digitally. NET1 and NET HD provide locally produced specials and documentaries about the issues that are important to you. NET2 offers PBS World, a 24-hour digital channel showing locally produced and PBS documentaries. On NET's third digital channel, Create, advice on cooking, gardening, and home improvement. Visit netnebraska.org to find out how to see them in your area.
Our first job is to get as close as possible to the verifiable truth. When I talk to people, I'm talking to people who are excited about their knowledge, who are passionate about their experience, and you can sense that. We're simply trying to say, look at the world, listen to this. I think our role is to take the world seriously. Why people trust us? Because we trust the people.
The Maverick baseball team is only playing 7 games in this Omaha season, with only 5 of them being home games, and 4 of those games are coming up quicker than you might think. Welcome back to the Omaha News. I'm Megan Lackman.
And I'm Josh Gear. The inaugural Division I baseball season in full swing, UNO suffered a tough start. After beating Creighton and Iowa in back-to-back games, it looked like they were on the upswing. But after getting swept by Summit League opponents IPFW this past weekend, the Mavericks are back to their losing ways. Brett Kane reports.
UNO Maverick baseball team has had a bit of a rough transition into the Division I ranks, but the team has turned a corner after beating Creighton and Iowa within the last week. The Gateway's baseball contributing writer Jared Meyer gives his thoughts on the season.
As of right now, I mean they beat Creighton, they beat Iowa. They had a really slow start, giving up lots of runs. Their pitching is struggling. But after that Florida trip, I think they really started coming around.
But until the Mavs get their own home baseball field, the pains of the road will continue to be a factor. Senior catcher Colby McCord discusses what has been most difficult for him this season.
Oh, definitely the travel is. We're getting to the point now where we're just gone constantly over and over and over at 6-7 days at a time, and we don't even know what day it is half the time. Just constantly sleeping here in one hotel, busting 12 hours, sleeping in another hotel, and then busting 12 hours. It's really wearing on our bodies and stuff like that. We've had a lot of injuries over the year. We think we're out like 8 to 10 guys with injuries and stuff. So it's really, I think the travel is wearing in on that, and on our team too.
With the benefit of only one home game thus far, the Mavs are looking forward to having a few days off this week before hitting the road again. For the Omaha News, I'm Brett Kane.
But before the Mavericks hit the road for 17 consecutive games to end the season, they play 4 right here in Omaha this weekend against North Dakota State Bison. On Friday, they play at the ballpark at Boys Town at 1 o'clock before playing at their home away from home, Werner Park, for a doubleheader on Saturday at 10 a.m. and 1:30. They end the series back at Boys Town at noon on Sunday. The Omaha Storm Chasers start their minor league action this weekend, battling the Isotopes of Albuquerque. Omaha and Albuquerque take the field Thursday through Sunday at Werner Park, with every game starting at 7:05, except on Sunday when the first pitch is due to be thrown at 2:05. Saturday game will be part of a triple header starting approximately 3 hours after the UNO North Dakota State doubleheader. Also capping off this huge baseball weekend in Omaha are the Creighton Blue Jays taking on Indiana State. Creighton and the Sycamores start Friday at 6. They play Saturday at 2 and Sunday at 3 at TD Ameritrade Park. Sunday's game will be televised by ESPNU.
After starting the season with 25 consecutive road games, the UNO softball team finally played at home at Westside Field at Westbrook. For the first time ever this past week, beating the University of Nebraska at Kearney 8-0 and 7-3. And now the Mavericks continue to play at home with 8 out of the next 10 games at Westside's new field, including a huge tilt against in-state opponent Nebraska on April 18th.
Tickets are on sale for the UNO basketball team's inaugural season at Ralston's new arena, the Ralston Sports and Events Center. Tickets went on sale Tuesday at 10 a.m. For the first time, Mavericks will play a full D1 schedule in their second year of the 4-year reclassification. UNO's first home game of the season will be against the Northern Illinois Huskies, the only D1 team the Mavericks beat last season. The slate includes 8 home games against Summit League competition, and as part of its conference affiliation, UNO will host a Bracket Buster game, which could be televised on ESPN.
That's it for this week's edition of the Omaha News. Thanks again for watching. Looking for more? Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/theomahanews.
While you're there, you can check out news stories our reporters have covered, submit story ideas of your own, and leave us feedback. We would love to hear it. For all of us here at Omaha News and UNO Television, have a great night.
You've always known you were a leader, someone who works hard to achieve your goals. You can see it. You can see your success in front of you. You pursue a college education for the old-fashioned reasons, to learn, to make yourself more valuable, to succeed. You need a place that celebrates your ambition and positions you alongside visionary people just like you. You, my friend, belong here, the University of Nebraska at Omaha.
KVNO was in a really interesting place. This Victorian mansion near UNO.
3 floors. The studios were on the 3rd floor.
Bedrooms and bathrooms. So we had a challenge, but we ultimately ended up with an on-air studio.
We soundproofed it with carpet, and actually I think it sounded really warm, very radio friendly.
There were also rumors that the 3rd floor was haunted. Those were the maids' chambers, as we were told.
I had a sink in the office and leaded glass windows which looked out on the stable house in the back.
One colleague talking about having the window open one day, a warm spring or fall day, and a squirrel jumping through the window onto a turntable.
It was a great place, a great ambiance for a fine arts station.
It definitely had a charm to it.
Watch the Omaha News Wednesdays at 4 p.m. on the Knowledge Network.